everyone, Joanna Wilson here and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Sunday, so we've got a really informative advice video coming at you this week, and we're talking about revision techniques. Now there's 4 techniques that I'm going to go through, and I've got examples of all my previous work to go with them, so I hope you enjoy it.
Just what you doing.
How to revise is probably one of the biggest questions I get, and one thing that I need to caveat any video about revision techniques with is that it's very, very personal to you. I could tell you exactly what I do to revise and you might come away from it thinking, what on earth is she on about? It just doesn't work for me, and that's absolutely fine. So my biggest advice is to go away and test the waters, to try out all the different revision techniques and see what works for you. And it might be different techniques for different subjects, and that's okay, but understanding and knowing what works for you is paramount before it gets to that crunch time and that exam season. First things first, the ultimate revision technique, the flashcard. I know a lot of you use them. Some people love them. Some people hate them. They're personally a tool that I think if you can master how to use them, you will love them. I believe that flashcards are for key bits of information such as definitions, key dates, and small questions in your specification. So for me, flashcards are to test yourself or to get someone else to test you. So they need to have something on there that's short and snappy and that you can answer if you've been tested. So the name of a definition and the definition of the back, a question, and the answer on the back. But remember, keep it small, keep it brief, and keep it snappy. In my experience, flashcards have been very good for me for both biology, chemistry, and physics for definitions. I've also used them in maths as well for key equations to put on there too. If flashcards are for you and a tool that you like to use, that's my advice. The next revision technique on my list is mind maps. Now these can be created both on the computer and on paper, and I think having them really colourful, really stand out is something that's going to be really important to have a successful mind map. Now they tend to have a bubble in the middle and lots of arrows coming for them, and I quite like the way that looks. But what I did find when I was at university is that it took up a lot of space on the paper. So the way that I organise my mind maps, and I'm so proud of these, is as so. Now what I did at uni with my lecture series in my final year was I created one of these colourful mind maps for each and every single one of my lectures, laminated them and bound them with a ring around the corner. So this was basically everything I needed to know, everything I needed to learn in one place. My tips for mind maps are colourful, concise, and either split it lecture by lecture, topic by topic, so that everything you need to know about one thing is on one bit of paper. I think that's a really good way to do it, because then you can compartmentalise the different things that you have to learn, and that's really, really key too. Another thing that I've brought from university are these notebooks. Now I just loved getting lots of different colourful bits of stationery, and I did just go absolutely haywire and spend a fortune on all these Oxford books, but they did come in really handy when I was planning my essays. Now if you want a full lowdown on how to do an essay plan, then please watch the video that I posted last Sunday, as that goes through that. But I did use this book to basically accumulate lots of different notes for essay plans. Again, it's really, really colourful, and it's really, really clear what I wanted to talk about in each of these sections before I started writing my essays. So get involved in having separate books for separate areas of your knowledge, especially when it comes to uni, when you've got to get a lot of extra reading in there. Feel free to go ham on the stationery and just compartmentalise what you're doing in that way as well. The next revision technique that I'm going to talk about is using the computer, and I'm actually going to turn my phone around for this and show you what I did when it came to typing up my notes. Now I loved typing up my notes ever since I started my A-levels. I thought it was a really concise way to get everything down. It's obviously much neater and you can copy and paste lots of pictures that you need. And I carried this on all the way into uni by typing up my lecture notes. So these were my lecture notes from third year on renal autoregulation, which is just a specific area of one of my modules that I was doing. And like I say, I've got all the important information and all the different diagrams that I need on there. One other document that I made, and I would really recommend this to people at uni, is a paper document. And this is basically, particularly for science subjects, but also for any subjects where you need to reference, is somewhere where I kept all the different papers that we looked at both in lectures and I looked at in my extra reading, and I spoke about the experiments that we used in each. I basically just did a summary of what happened, what the findings were and what experiments we used. And I found that when it came to writing my essays at the end of the year, this was a really great document to go back to and find exactly what I needed. So typing up notes for any area of education can be really, really beneficial, and I would definitely recommend this to people at uni who have subjects where they have to reference. I didn't want to make this too long, and obviously there are tons and tons of other revision techniques, but the final one I'm going to talk about, and I think ultimately the most important, is practice exam questions. I cannot stress how important it is at any level of your education, from GCSEs all the way through to postgrad, to practice the exams that you are going to be sitting. For GCSEs and A-levels, I always describe it as a bit of a game. You need to find out exactly what the examiners are looking for, study those mark schemes, learn those model answers, and make yourself a bank of mark scheme points that you can revise from after doing your exam questions. When it gets to uni, you need to know what to expect when it comes to it, whether it's MCQs, short answers, essays. Practice them all and ensure that you can see the types and the patterns of questions that are coming up, because I can promise that when you go to sit your exams, it will be similar things. How to tackle an exam question: I would always go at it blind to begin with. Don't look at any mark schemes, don't have any notes open, anything like that. Go at it having not looked at anything else at the beginning. What I would then do is I would look at your notes and your mark schemes, and I would add to it in a different coloured pen. Then the final thing that I would do, and this is where I would write your bank of proper, perfect model examples of answers to questions, is I would use again a different coloured pen and rewrite the answer in your own words and using the mark scheme to create that perfect answer. Now, what you can then do is, if you keep that in a book or if you keep that on a Word document, you can then have this bank of model answers that you can go and look at and revise from. This is a really, really key revision tool because it's showing you exactly what the examiners are going to be looking for. Those are my 4 revision techniques that I've gone through on this video. We've talked about flashcards, mind maps, typing out notes, and exam questions. Like I say, there are many more, and I want to know what's your favourite, so comment down below what your favourite revision technique is. Remember that the OCR A-level chemistry checklist is now available, so if you want to subscribe to that, then please do so below. We've still got 40% off the planner and the weekly tracker, and that's only going to be for 1 more week, so if you want to get that discount, then do so. Thanks so much for watching the video. Click like if you found it informative. Keep smashing it, and remember, anything is possible if you just work. Bye.